Hi everyone, this is Chaotic Vice 777 here, otherwise known as Vice the Fallen Paladin. To honor Zenless Zone Zero's first anniversary, I'm going to be doing an account review. So let's begin, I guess. So let's see here. I really haven't marked any favorites just because I don't see any reason to. I'm sorry. It just doesn't seem necessary. Nekomata, we just go down the list, right? Nekomata is not really built. I mean, okay, she is, but I haven't really been using her to at the moment. Plus, I'm also sharing gear. Um, she's mostly for fun. Um, in retrospect, I probably should have saved my resources and not have built her per se, just because then I wouldn't have been so bottlenecked with Yuzuha. I think the same thing could be said for Grace as well, and you'll see as we go down the list. Um, I first started the game with Soldier 11 and Kolita. Currently Soldier is on Infernal Meadow and two-piece Woodpecker. As you can see here, Soldier 11 is also M2. Um, I'm pretty sure I got the first copy of Soldier 11 through the standard banner, and then the other two copies came from failing two 50/50s. One on, let's see here. One of them was definitely on Miyabi. The other one, I'm blanking out. I feel like it's Astra, but don't quote me on that. I'm sure there are records from my previous videos. Um, I have not pushed her skills to level 12. I do want to do that at some point in the future, but I'm not in any rush. She should be on Hormone Punk and Puffer Electro, but I don't have Eve's signature. I have two Brimstones, so I haven't really found a need to swap to the signature anytime soon. So I guess you can see her build at the present moment. Um, it's okay. It's not anything too special. It's like some of the pieces are good, some of the pieces are middling. I mean, it's probably above average for in terms of like people who actually play Soldier 11, but it's pretty weak if you think about the fact that Eve's signature gives so many stats, it's not even funny. And I would have to revamp my build, which I suppose I do have some Hormone Punk pieces right here, for example. Like, I do have like some that are good. It's just that I just don't really see the need to swap to the build when I don't even have anything ready at the present moment. And plus, I don't have Hormone Punk in pen ratio. That's the real killer here. Um, or Puffer Electro for that matter. I'll have to figure out which one I'll choose. It's probably Puffer Electro and disc 5 if I could cut it, but I can't be really too picky about this sort of stuff. I've been pretty satisfied with Soldier 11. She's been forcing me to run fundamentals because of how simplistic her gameplay is. I don't have to worry about really any additional mechanics besides, timing her swings, which, by the way, um, right over here, let's see here, where is it? Um, Yeah, right here. For the ultimate, after using the skill or the chain attack and the ultimate and the EX, like, it's so useless, man. I hate to say this, but free fire suppression is only good if you're a casual. Um, it's a consistency boost. And if you're good with Soldier 11, it's not the consistency that you're worried about. It's mostly like it's not the consistency of the swings that's the problem, because you're gonna ingrain that in your muscle memory. At that point, I'd rather have another bonus so that there's a reward for using her instead of like the well, I call it cheating, but basically there's a lot of people who just try to use all the stacks of fire suppression and then use their chain attack, EX, or ultimates. It's just not good. It's the same principle as when people are trying to do Bernice to proc Inferno Metal. At that point, just run something better. I mean, or just play Lucy and lighter. Don't try to do Bernice. You can still maintain enough uptime for Inferno Metal for when it matters. All right, so let's see here. Let's go down the list. Miyabi. Miyabi, I'm pretty happy with the build. Um, she's got like what 36 effective subs across the board. She's the only character where I have pushed all of the skills to level 12, mostly out of necessity. I ordinarily wouldn't do this, but I've been basically at certain points in the game, I was so close to a kill that pushing all those skills to 12 was what at the time I felt necessary. I first pushed the basic special and chain attack or ultimate in this case, sorry, to level 12 just to kill Bringer, and then I pushed the dodge and the assist to level 12 just to handle marionettes. Let's see here. All the pieces I think are relatively good, generally speaking. I do have a pen ratio disc. It is not the best, I know. But at the same time, I can't really afford to be picky about it because that's probably my best pen ratio disc on the account. In fact, can I filter for yes, I can. I think, yeah. Yeah. I've been trying. It's not good. So I mean, technically, I can use Faith End's Melody or even King of the Summit. Like it's questionable. Basically, I can't do it on Miyabi seriously. In other words, I would have to farm gear, but farming gear is really difficult right now. And I'll also explain as I conduct the account review, and also I'll probably throw some thoughts about the game as well. Sorry, not lighter. Kalita. Kalita, M0, not too special. Sorry, I forgot to mention, Miyabi is indeed M0W1. I don't think I'm going to put more investment into her, mainly because I don't see the reason. Like, there's other characters that would benefit more from, like, supports, stunners. They appreciate the mindscapes and W engines more than Miyabi at the present moment. I have priorities basically, and Miyabi is so strong that she just isn't one of them. Like, I would rather go for a Mono Ice than to go for any sort of improvement on, like, I know M1 and M2 are incredibly strong. Like, all of Miyabi's mindscapes are really strong, but it's just so unnecessary to do it on the strongest character in the game at this present time. All right, on to Kalita. She isn't wearing anything right now, just because I've been sharing gear across characters. Um, let's see. Her basic is level 9. Not only because of a lack of resources, but also because I just don't use a basic attack. Like, I think that's one of the traps about Kalita, is like people love to on-field her for dodge counters and stuff like that. she's a burst stunner. Like, yes, you'll dodge counter and stuff, but you're gonna try to minimize how much field time she's using, because every moment that you're not doing like a parry or an ultimate or a dodge counter is basically a huge waste in DPS. The other problem is that she stuns too fast. I know it doesn't make sense given that she has incredibly fast stun speed, but when you're trying to go and get all of your resources together to set up a stun, make for example, like let's say I'm trying to get Soldier 11's ultimate on Pompey, every stun, you can't really field Toledo for too long, because if you do that, Pompey will get stunned before you can get an ult through, and then it's like the stun becomes useless, because then your ult just sits there, and then you may have to fire off an ult out of stun, which in theory I guess it kind of works with the buff, but like the first buff is so strong. Well, I digress. It really depends on the Deadly Assault rotation, and it's just in general, it's just not a good idea. Ordinarily, I would be putting on Steam Oven with King of the Summit, but or Prolopunk. It sort of just depends on what I'm trying to do. King of the Summit is just a recent addition, as you know. It's currently on Jufufu. Yeah, I mean, Kalida's biggest problem is that she just doesn't have any payoff outside of fast stun, and the fact that whenever she parries, only costs 1 assist point. Like, those two things are just not enough. Like, I know she has a bonus on chain attacks, but even on Evelyn, which is supposed to be the best agent, um, you would just rather run lighter, right? So, speaking of which, here's lighter. Everyone and their mother is literally sharing Steam Oven at the moment. Fossilized Helix is mostly for Chinny speed runs and stuff like that. Um, Lighter is fine. I would love to get his skills to 12. Um, it goes circles back around to how I'm thinking about how the account will develop in the future. Um, and as we get along to the more unbuilt characters, I'll then describe how many characters I plan to build. Um, Lighter at M0W0 is totally fine. I've been happy with the upgrade. Although I wasn't really happy with being strong armed into the upgrade. So let me explain. Um, Back in the initial debut, back in 1.3, I didn't want to do it. First of all, because I rolled for Yanagi and I lost the 50-50. That was a huge blow on my funds. The second reason it was that he was debuting before Miyabi. That was, obviously you roll for Miyabi. You don't go for Lighter. Unless you're a fan of Lighter or you need him to support Soldier 11, which in this case, I just waited until the rerun because I felt like I could handle Soldier 11 at that point in time. Now, when I got Lighter back in 1.7, this was during the Deadly Assault rotation where Soldier 11 had terrible matchups on the across the board. We're talking about like Marionettes being the best matchup, because Typhon at that point had like 40%, or is it 20%? It's probably 20% fire resistance, and then Butcher having like 15% damage resistance. So it's like, what's even the point? Like, I'm not gonna run Soldier 11, Colita, and Lucy against those guys. So I have to fight against Marionettes where I'm always struggling on range, and I'm always like, Marionettes are also uncooperative at the best of times. If you're not running Miyabi, and even if when you are running Miyabi, you still get trolled by Marionette RNG, right? So at that point, it's like, you know what? I was always going to roll for Lighter in 1.7 anyways. It's just that my friend also funded me like $200 to also roll for Vivian. So by that point in time, like, I blew through a lot of funds. I mean, I still have a lot at the moment, but that's just because I've been hoarding like mad. Yeah. Swap like transitioning from Colita to Soldier. Sorry, what am I saying? Transitioning from Colita to Lighter was pretty easy. I didn't really feel like I had any issues. What's really? Um, I think the biggest issue is like range. And okay, so when Lighter has his quick assist, he will rear back before doing his combo, which throws me off. If, for example, like I'm trying to do an ultimate, then Lighter's ultimate will not necessarily hit. Another example is, let's say Lighter is doing his punching combo. If he's committing to the combo, his dodge doesn't exactly move him forward very far. So if the enemy retreats back or moves away, it's hard for Lighter to follow through. This is not like the Chin-Yi canceling where you can sort of rapidly cancel into the basic third, into the third basic every so often. Like, like if you see like the Yoji videos where Chin-Yi is like rushing up to Typhon, that kind of deal. But otherwise, he's been fantastic. I've been running Steam Oven, and later in the video, I'm planning to grab Gears. That's Kalida's signature weapon because it would benefit Lighter, it would benefit Kalida, it would benefit Jufufu. Basically, it benefits 3 units compared to Weeping Cradle, which only benefits one, and Rena is like a maybe at this present moment. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Grace. Grace actually has some decent gear just because I was initially was farming Chinyi pieces, which also translated into farming Thunder Metal for Grace, Yanagi, and Harumasa. So it kind of worked out, but at the same time, I haven't really used Grace. Some of it is due to Core F not happening, and her underdeveloped skills, but Grace was also not dealing lots of damage in the first place. Like she can keep a lot of shock happening, but she's not herself a great damage dealer. Right now she's on a mismatch, but once again, I've been sharing pieces. But as you can see, like I do actually have a few good pieces. It's just that okay, don't we don't talk about the ether one. Um, yeah, like she has some good pieces. She has some middling pieces. Like across all the builds, I would say like Miyabi is the best build, but even she has her own woes. Um, I did think about putting Grace with Yanagi and Rina. I've seen it do wonders. I've seen other people run Grace with Harumasa, and that works. I've seen Grace also being run with Vivian, and that works. But because I have generally better options, Grace has kind of fallen to the wayside. So, I mean, I didn't put too much investment into her, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know if I really want to commit, especially at M0. It just doesn't seem to be worth. I do have Fusion Compiler, and that's been a nice alternative to Weeping Gemini if I can hack it. It's mostly like for for Yanagi. I know Piper can work with it too, but I've heard the signature versus Fusion Compiler is like not as big of a difference as you would think. Besides, the stat difference from 4 stars versus 5 star W engines. Let's move on to Harumasa. Harumasa, he's got the essentials maxed. You can see like he actually does have some decent Thunder Metal pieces. These two I usually share. And whenever I can, like even with 2 brimstones, I have to share, so it's not that big of a deal to have 2 brimstones. Um, if I were to get Eve's signature in the future, then I would slap on the Soldier 11, and then Harumasa and Zhu Yuan can both carry brimstone. So, Haramasa is totally playable. I think people are overblowing his difficulty, only because they're not comfortable with manual chains. And to be fair, if you're not comfortable with manual chains, Haramasa is like an alien. But if you are familiar, um, like with enough coaching, enough practice, you can use Haramasa to an acceptable degree. Like 13 dash attacks, 15 dash attacks, that should be possible. It's just like trying to go for like 19 or the advanced combos, that's the kind of stuff like you probably don't need to do that just to get 3 stars. So like eventually you might have to try harder, but he'd be in a better position than like Soldier 11 in my books. Although Lighter is a better support. Hard to say, actually, come to think of it. And to be fair, Soldier 11 is also M2. So, I mean, I've had some good results with Haramasa. It's just that I really suck at trying to do the manual chain combos. So it's like I feel like I would do much better with Zhu Yuan because she has the similar principles, even if it's not this like even if the payout is similar. Like Haramasa has to do a lot in order to get like the same payoff as Zhu Yuan at times. So take that as you will. Rena. Rena is M1. I had thought about getting W1 for Weeping Cradle. I haven't redeemed it yet because I wanted to combine it with the account review. She's got the essentials leveled. Let's see. Right now she's on a mismatch of stuff because once again, I share gear. Especially because of the Astro sets. Like I share Astro across so many people that it's not even funny. Like because Astro and Blade of and Branch Song are such a good domain to farm, it kind of worked out. But it also has meant that I don't have enough good pieces to share amongst characters, especially if I don't have multiple good discs of like let's say like maybe like 6, 5, that kind of stuff. Like sometimes you just gotta share, and that's just the reality of Zenless. Like the disc system is still not generous enough for that. I'm glad that there's no range in terms of substats. Like once you get an enhancement, it is the exact enhancement that you're looking for. But at the same time, it's like okay. So I was talking about M1 W1 on Rena, and gear sharing. Arena's been fine. M1 has been a huge quality of life improvement. I know you can micromanage her buff by using basics in between everybody's attacks. So like you can quick swap and then do a basic and then swap to another character, and you can keep buff uptime that way. But it's kind of overkill if you're not focused on min maxing, and M1 sort of solves the issue anyways. But I only use M1 Rena really just to like cover the fact that like maybe I can't use Astra, or if I'm running her with Yanagi just to maximize pen ratio, that kind of deal. So I haven't felt the need to like push Rena further. So that's another reason I'm getting gears instead of Weeping Cradle. Speaking of Yanagi, she's fantastic. I've been sh- really satisfied with using her. I lost the 50-50, and I really wish that this was her signature instead of Weeping Gemini, because I've had to use Weeping Gemini just out of necessity. But she's been fantastic. Um, both, I mean, her animations are distracting, but I mean, other than that, like she's just been a powerhouse of versatility. She can be hyper carry, she can be sub DPS. Her flexibility means that I can use her with like Vivian, Mono Electric. I can use her with Miyabi. She does what she needs to do, which is disorder spam. And it's certainly possible that she'll get crept out, but in comparison to something like Anby, Silver Soldier Anby, that is, I don't see her falling off necessarily anytime soon. Like she's not one of the characters that I'd say she has a significant problem. Let's see. Let's go to Zhu Yuan. Zhu Yuan has a fantastic build, I would argue, for what it's worth. I know she's on Chaotic Metal, and there are some scenarios where Chaotic Metal is better than Hormone Punk, and vice versa. She's like you're gonna see a recurring trend where even though I do have the hamster cages, I don't have any resources to push them to level 12, and it's just because it's like I'm as soon as I get to Ishwan, I will be able to show you exactly why I've been trying to build so many characters all at once. But yeah, like these are all very fair substats across the board where it's just hard to improve her build. So she's just been stuck using this same build since 1.0, which is still fine, right? Like it's like her second best, maybe her best in certain situations. I know she's overcapping a bit, but it's really weird to address the overcap. Like, because you only gain crit in increments of 2.4%, is either that like have a 1.2% chance to miss crits, or I guarantee crits all the time. So I chose to bite the bullet and decide that, yeah, I'd rather overcap. Okay, so let's go over to Chinyi. Chinyi should be on Astro Voice Shockstar. Yes. Right now, because Jufufu is on the fully maxed out Steam Oven, her attack is a little low. Once again, I've been happy with Chinyi. She is one of my favorite characters to use. Um, yeah, I know people complain about the carpal tunnel syndrome, and I guess that's kind of true if you like grind for like 3 to 4 hours. It gets pretty tiring. Um, I did get M1 Chinyi. I felt like it was a way better investment than going for her signature W engine, and I haven't really felt too bad about it. I know her signature has a lot of team wide utility and can be used on lighter, but if lighter's on gears, or well, he will be on gears in the future, I don't see any reason to do the upgrade. Um, One of the things that I only learned recently is that Chinyi has a hold EX, which I know it sounds strange because like there are like if you think that there are hold basic attacks, there should be hold EXs. I guess for me the difference was like I never seriously used hold EX to get extra stun, so it kind of messed up my rotations. Like not messed up my rotations, it's like it would have given me more stun against Miasma Priest, for example, just to get the second stun before the Miasma phase. It would have been nice to know. All right, Astra Yao. Um, she's just so broken. Um, yeah, she's general support, but her numbers are so good. And it's not just her numbers, it's the fact that she can make quick assisting so easy. So you can swap cancel really well, and some characters also benefit off quick assists, like Anton and Vivian. So at that point, it's like it's it's not that they're reliant on Astra. It's just that like it's a huge upgrade at that point, right? All of her pieces are pretty good. It's hard to get an upgrade, and also I'm sharing Kaboom across Lucy. I'm sharing it with Pan Yin as well, if it need be. Kaboom is fantastic. I'm going with maximum energy regen instead of maximizing the buff, just because like at that point, you need 3,429 attack, and I am like 104 attack away. So at that point, it's like I would lose a little bit of attack buff in exchange for better energy regen, which I think is more substantial damage over time throughout the run. If I really wanted to cap it out, I do have Hormone Punk pieces, but once again, I feel like it's unnecessary. M1 is just so broken. I got M1 during the rerun. It's just like the extra decibels, the res down, the invincibility. These are all factors that help not only in end game content of Shiu and Deadly Assault, but it also helps in endurance modes like Battle Tower. I've never regretted getting M1. I personally would say M1 Astra Yao is as powerful as getting another limited character, at least to me. It's because Astra just helps in so many teams, and M1 plays a little differently to M0 because you get the extra decibels to start your rotations, and it's just like the damage boost is so crazy that, like, if you go and look across a lot of the Deadly Assault kills, you're gonna find a lot of M1 Astras, a lot of M1 Astras just to close the gap. Vivian. Vivian was not someone I had planned to roll for originally. But then my friend Eddie, 2010, literally funded me $200 to pull for Vivian. And even though Vivian cost me 156 pulls just to get her, um, I she's been fantastic. Like, um, is she a better sub DPS than Yanagi? Yes. There's no way to cut around it. The question is she a better DPS, a sub DPS for Miyabi? That is a lot harder to say because it's all contingent on the Deadly Assault buffs. I have seen Z1C get a kill on Bringer with Vivian, so I'm interested in doing runs to see if I can replicate this. I have a idea of the general game plan, but if it requires more than M1 Astra, it might just be out of reach. The main thing is I actually have to test, and I haven't really tested at this present moment. But I will try to upload a video over the long weekend. Let's just take some time and think about it, because even over the long weekend, I have some plans of heading out with families, so it's pretty rough just to assume that I can practice during the weekend. But I might be able to practice for Independence Day or something like that. I leveled Vivian's critical skills to 12 just to get the marionette kill for a last rotation. So yeah. Ordinarily, I wouldn't do it otherwise. I know that her signature is a big boost as well. I was hoping to get 375 anomaly proficiency without Weeping Gemini factored in, but I farmed for like what 2 weeks and that didn't work out. So yeah. Moving on. Let's go to Ishwan. Okay, Ishwan is okay. I'm not happy with her build, but I'm not like too mad over the build. Like there's some good pieces, but there's also some bad pieces as well. Like especially the HP and the ether damage. They could use some badly needed improvements. Um, so Ishan kind of was on the back burner for a lot of 2.0 because let me explain exactly how many characters I'm planning to build or have built. I've built Ishwan, I've built Pan Yin-Hu, I've built Jufufu, I need to build Yuzuha, Lycon, and Sokaku. So I have, I would say, a little more than 4 characters to build, just because of how many resources I'm behind on. So it's, if you think about it, it takes 3 weeks, half a patch, to build one character. I know we have triple drops, so that might help with this. Um, and it's just kind of crazy how long it takes to build a character. I know it's the same thing for Zenless. I mean, for Honkai Star Rail, but Zenless has the problem that you don't get extra dennies for being max level, so you're broke all the time. Yes, Ishwan is M0W1, mostly out of necessity because I don't really have free to play options, so my hands were kind of tied on this one. Sort of the same thing with Miyabi, but Miyabi doesn't have like Miyabi. I actually have the subs to make Weeping Gemini work, or Fusion Compiler in this instance. She would be at 68, so it'd be fine compared to Ishun. All right, so the most recent addition is Jufufu. Right now, she's just shy, but that's because I don't have enough of the core. I'm not farming the core anytime soon, and let me explain. This is specifically because eventually I'm gonna stop building. Like I'm not gonna continue collecting characters back to back to back because I've been rolling since 1.7, all the way until I'm probably rolling for Yuzuha in 2.1. I want to take a break from it because otherwise I'm going to be perpetually in the cycle of trying to gear characters and then trying to get their gear. So at some point my funds are not infinite and I have to stop. Once I get core F, she'll be ready. Well, as ready as she'll ever be. She is on the typical King of the Summit, Astro Voice, just to get her to the 3400 mark. If she were on Signature W Engine, naturally I would swap this 6 from attack to impact for extra stun and maybe energy regen. I mean, it just all depends, right? On days thresholds and stuff like that. It's not easy to say like, oh, okay, you gotta swap to an impact this so that you can get an extra stun. I do plan on deploying her for the upcoming, well, actually, it's the ongoing Shiyu now that we're past the reset. But I have to probably record Soldier 11 first and then have to compare if my each one performance will fare better, which it should, even with lighter. Yeah. Let's see here. Nicole. Nicole is a staple. I have not really ever adjusted her builds. I did adjust her build once, and this was specifically on the Yanagi clear against Typhon. So I was running Yanagi, Nicole, and Rina, and that was pretty effective. But that's because Typhon also doesn't have care about stunners, and you have to micromanage the anomaly buildup so that you get maximum disorder value. Unfortunately, Vault is not maxed out. Not much I can do about that because that just comes down to a matter of rolls. Nicole's just like, if you're not getting her to core F, you're doing something wrong. That's just the hard reality of the situation. She's so broken. For a 4-star, like the only way that Nicole is pushed out of the meta is if we have enough limited supports to push Nicole out. It's I mean, which will eventually happen, I suppose, but because of the fact that Zenless needs 3 teams compared to Honkai Star Rail's 2 teams, like it's going to take a while for Nicole to be pushed out if she even gets pushed out because she's such a free, accessible option. Um, Definitely max out her energy regen. If you can, try to micromanage her defense debuff. Like you can use basic attacks to get the defense buff going. You can swap cancel out of it too. It's and let's not forget Nicole has insane grouping compared to a lot of the other characters. Like I would die for some grouping on Soldier 11, but it's not happening unless I use lighter. So yeah, Nicole is great. Um, just build her. Honestly, just build her. Okay, so Lucy. Lucy, like Nicole, is at N6. Um, Lucy has some good applications. Right now she's on Battle because I'm sharing Kaboom across so many characters. But basically, you don't need a core effort. I just did it because I feel like if I didn't do it, it wouldn't be fair commitment. Lucy has some issues, I will have to say. It's not about the EX whiffing, even though it is a thing. It's mostly because she is, by and large, the most replaceable unit. Because she only offers general team-wide buffs. And the buff values are not nearly as strong as, say, Astra's. At some point, I do believe that she's easily replaceable. Like if I replace Lucy with Nicole, that's already most likely an upgrade across all teams. But I do have Lucy here because she works with Colita for my personal challenge runs. She also works with Lighter to proc his additional passive. But I mean, if I'm running Lighter with Soldier 11, it also works. So at the end of the day, if it came down to it, I would probably replace Lucy with Astra, replace Astra with Yuzuha. You know, shift around the teams and then push Lucy out. Like Lucy is great, but she is like for what she does, she's good, but you can kind of already tell like the age of the supports already. Like she's kind of like a Teen Yun in Honkai Star Rail. Like she is very good throughout the early and mid game and even the late game, but eventually as the game gets older, she's probably going to get pushed down. Whereas Nicole is like Pela, but unlike Honkai Star Rail, since Nicole is support, she'll last a bit longer. Or not even a bit longer, a lot longer. Panyan, who the build's pretty janky right now because I've been using physical damage bonus when I should be using attack. It's a bit of cope, honestly. As you can see, cores are not maxed out. At least I don't need his skills to be fully maxed out, but like I'm hoping to max out Panyan Hu in due time because he is supposed to be a very good buffer, and I don't want to use Astra with Ishwin if I can avoid it. So, out of necessity, I do actually need to max out Panyan Hu. The rolls were good though. I got M6 of both Pan and Pokra, and I know like a friend of mine, Cresso, he has M0 Pan Yanhu, and that is suffering. Like you just can't run him at that point. Not for killing, anyways. And then everybody after this is just not built whatsoever. So I'm not gonna really cover any of this. Okay. So let's just do an overview of, I guess, how far the account has gone. So let's see. As you can see here, I've been playing the game. I haven't missed a day. So let me go ahead and click all of this. Zenless has been pretty engaging. Like I've been sticking through the thick and thin of it. I know people were really mad about the TV mode. I have some mixed opinions about the TV mode. I feel like the TV mode was a necessary removal, but at the same time, I feel like they should have just kept the TV mode in like some side quests and stuff like that, just to because the TV mode did have its own form of creativity with the ballet twins. The TV mode also had made storytelling itself a lot more viable. Like when you're traveling across a proxy, it's interesting to sort of see how the other proxies travel. Like instead of running through a map, it's like you could see how we're doing. How do I explain this? When the other characters are focused elsewhere, we're focused on not necessarily exploring ourselves, but like the Marcel maps are good, but they're sort of like a one and done experience rather than a replayable sort of deal. Which I guess is the same thing for the TV modes, but like in terms of storytelling, it felt like the TV mode was more creative in its storytelling compared to just doing running around in the map with dialogue playing in the background. I guess is the best way to explain it. Let me also collect my birthday thing as well. Ooh, all the poly. Okay, sorry. I'm being too rambly in this scenario. The end game is fantastic, I have to say. I wonder if I can show the scores. No, I can't. Not that it matters because she reset, but having the constant rotation of Shiyu and Deadly Assault has been great. I know some people might get tired of endgame constantly updating back to back to back, but it means that I'd rather have a constantly updating endgame than something like Honkai Star Rail, where you just wait for one update for Pure Fiction, Memory of Chaos, and Apocalyptic Shadow. Like you only get one of each every patch, so it's like you're just waiting around for the next update. It's like you wait every 2 weeks, then you wait another 2 weeks, and you wait another 2 weeks. It just feels a lot more boring because then you just go in, go out, and then you're done. Whereas here you're trying to do it every single week. It's like like if gacha games intend you to do regular play, then regular play of the end game is definitely good for player retention. At least for the veteran players. Let's see here. I haven't done my dailies because I just literally only just started just now. Let's see. Right. So this is my ongoing poly count. And then you can also see how much I could also exchange as well. I've been redeeming the fading signal currency for extra chips just to try to ease up on the grind. Um, I have way too many bamboo poles. I have to decide on if I want to commit at some point. But the rundown is that I should have enough for a Yuzuha. So once it comes down to it, I will go ahead and roll for Yuzuha. I don't know if M1 or W1 is better. I'd have to wait for the early access videos to see. But whatever happens is whatever happens. Will I get the skin? Yes, probably. Let's see. Anything else I want to talk about? I don't think so. Let's see. Once I finish building up Lycon and Sokaku. Oh yes, which also reminds me, I should totally redeem my selector now. It's not here. What am I doing? It's over here. Okay, so what am I doing here? I already completed the event. Sorry, it's festival channel. I don't know why I keep going past it. It's probably because I wanted to save it until now. All right, so let's get started. The S rank is obvious. I'm missing Lycon, as you can see. So let me go ahead and get started. Wait, why is Grace saying Mindscape 0? Weird. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. The whole point is I'm going to go ahead and get Lycon. Lycon is going to be a great addition to Miyabi Mono Ice. And it's the only standard character that I'm missing. So getting him is just very obvious. Especially when they have M1 Nekomata, M1 Rina, and M2 Soldier. And then afterwards, I'm also going to get Gears. I did think about Weeping Credo, but think about it like this. Unless Rina becomes best in slot on a team, which hasn't happened yet, I'm just going to stick to Gears. Because Gears is a lot of energy regen for off-field characters, so once again, Lighter, Jufufu, and Kolita. So 3 characters versus 1, and I don't own Gears. I don't own Steel Cushion. Restraint is terrible, so I'm going to go ahead and claim Gears right now. Alright, so that's done. So now that I've collected that, let's see. What characters do I plan to pull after Sokaku and now that after I finish building Lycon and Sokaku? Well, if I ever do get used to playing Mono Ice, then optimal Mono Ice, mind you, then I'd probably wait for the next Void Hunter. I am not very interested in the rest of the cast. Like, I have no interest in Seed or Orpheus or the Angels of Delusion. So for me, it's just like after I build all these characters, I enter hibernation until the next Void Hunter drops. So I would probably just gear farm, try to transition people into the right builds. High priority would probably be like getting Eve W engine for Soldier 11 and for any attacker agent, because it's a good stat stick even if you can't activate the bonus effects. Maybe I go for Yanagir and Vivian's W engine. Maybe I go for Jufufu's W engine or Mindscape. I think the Mindscape is better than the W engine if I remember correctly. But yeah. Um I think that's pretty much it. Overall, I've been pretty happy with Zenless Zone Zero. The storytelling has been pretty engaging. I'm really happy that they use different avenues of media to express their style. I know people have criticized its lack of core identity. I'm not too sure about that. Maybe the loss of TV mode per se, but that's more like an issue of gameplay design and not necessarily gameplay identity. I do hope that they continue to buff characters. I really hope that Zenless takes a step forward and buff the standard characters, because once they start buffing standard characters, then maybe Star Rail goes and does the same thing, and then maybe Genshin as well. You know, just trying to update the characters for long-term value is huge. And I hope the developers follow up on the promise. Do I plan to spend in the game? If I do, it would be just the battle pass. It's just the battle pass, not only to address the resource issues that I have, because as you can see down here, like the battle pass has a lot of good resources, but also because of the game ball. Like one game ball is huge on Monolize, so I might just get this before the end of the patch. I have a few days to think about it, so yeah. Um, that will conclude my account progression overview. So if you have any questions or you have any constructive criticism, feel free to do so by commenting. Um, yeah, I'll be continuing to stream Zenless Zero and FGO. I'm not too sure about Honkai Star Rail, but at the bare minimum, I'll definitely do some more rolling videos for all of them. And yeah, I think that covers it. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Bye bye.